Hi everyone and welcome back to the Astronomy Guide. In this episode, this will be a DIY tutorial on how to make your own RS-232 cable so you can connect your NexStar handset on your Celestron telescope to your computer. Of course, you can buy this cable already done from most stores that sells equipment and accessories to the Celestron telescopes. But you can actually save some money, and this cable is really easy to do by yourself. So follow me in this DIY tutorial, and I will show you step by step on how to make your own RS-232 cable. So come with me. Let's start. There is not so much components and stuff that we need. We need an USB to RS-232 converter, and this you need in either way. Either you buy the already fixed cable from a store, or you make the cable by your own, but you still need this USB to RS-232 converter. Then I bought a spiral cable with an RG contact in one of the ends, and in the other end the cable is just cut. This comes in various lengths, dimensions, colors, and so on, and sometimes there is an RG contact in both ends. But I bought this from electrical store close by, and it was very cheap. Um, then you need a DB9 connector, and I chose one with housing and also with screw terminals. Instead of soldering, I think this is much easier and neater to use. So, but it's up to you. You can also have one where you solder the cables in place, but I go for the screw terminals. So let's start, and I will show you step by step how you do. So the first thing is double check that you have the right type of cable. Make sure that this RG contact, sometimes it's called RG10, sometimes RG22, and I can tell you, I don't know at all what that means. I just know that this cable is the right one to go in the contact underneath my handset like that, and it clicks in place. The newer version of the NexStar handset has the USB port instead, and then you don't need this cable. But for the older version that I have here, I need to have this RS-232 cable. So yes, the cable fits perfectly in the handset, and that's good. That's the first thing that we need to check. And then we can start taking off the outer insulation on the cable. This can be the tricky part, and there is different ways on how to do it. You can use a sharp cutter like this, or you can use a knife. But please, either the way what you choose, be careful so you don't hurt yourself. But let's start and see if we can take off the insulation of the cable. I go around the cable and make small cuts, very gentle, so I don't damage the cables inside, because then we have to start from the beginning again. So let's see, and then I start to see if I can drag the insulation off. It's a little bit tricky since it's a spiral cable and the insulation is on the spiral side and it's not on a flat side. That could help a little bit, but on this type of cable that I bought, it was not. But yes, the insulation comes off like that. So now we end up with four cables inside, and we have one green, one brown, one white, and one yellow. This can differ on different cables and so on by manufacturers. So don't go exactly what I say now on the colors. The most important part is the position on the pins in the contact, and I will tell you on how to check this. But first we need to also take off the insulation of the inner cables. They are very thin, so be careful, take some time. If you damage the copper leads inside, just cut the cable off and restart again. It's better to have good connection and be careful with this instead of just connect and damage copper leads. So it's better to really do it properly once. So I know that I will not use one of the cables inside because only three we're gonna use. Before I will take off all the insulation, I will tell you on how to check this. And now I will actually cheat a little bit and look on my computer. But one common mistake is how you count the pin number and how to check it. But first of all, on the RG contact, have the locking pin or locking clip on the bottom side. And then you should count the pin from the left to right, and the one most to the left is the 1, and then 2, 3 and 4, and in this case there is 4 pins and 4 cables. So from left to right we start off by yellow. So yellow is the first one, and the yellow one, the first one, is the TX signal between the handset and the computer. TX stands for transmit in the data bus, and this one should be connected to pin number 2 in the DB9. I will show you the complete circuit diagram here in the screen. Also the pin out of the RG contact and also the DB9. But okay, so I already know that number 1, this is the yellow one. So let's take off the insulation of that one because that one will be used. I took a little bit. No, it was good. It was good. They are really fragile, really thin, these cables, so you have to be very careful. But as I said, take your time, don't stress. They are very sensitive, and you must have good connection all the way from the DB9 to the telescope. Number 2 is the white one, and this is ground, and it should be connected to pin number 5 on the DB9. So let's take off the insulation on that one as well. Yes, it was good. I twisted the copper leads a little bit. I bend them in half just to make it a little bit thicker. And then we check number 3 is the brown. It should not be connected. So the easiest way now is to just take out the brown cable and cut it off. So you don't have to think about that anymore. So let's take out the brown one and let's cut it off. So now I have 3 cables, yellow, white and green. All the insulation has been taken off. So let's connect it into the DB9 connector. So here it how it looks. So again, number 1 yellow should be connected to pin number 2 in the DB9. Pin number 2 we have there. Okay, let's tighten the screw. The screws are very small, very sensitive, so please be careful. Tighten it of course, but not too much. Pin number 2 is ground, it's the white one. Pin number 2 in the RG, and it should be connected to pin number 5 in the DB9. Pin number 5, it's ground. Okay, and pin number 4, because 3 I said should not be connected, we cut that one off. It was the brown one, so we still have the 4th one, it's the green one, and it should be connected to pin number 3 in DB9, and this is the RX, the receive signal. So we have transmit, receive, and ground. So let's connect that one as well. Something like that. So now we have 3 cables connected to pin 2, 3, and 5. Yes, it should be connected, and we should look something like this. Okay, so now it's important as well to secure the outer insulation of the spiral cable in the housing, so it fits perfectly in place and secure there. So let's see, there is a little plastic clamp that should go over with 2 screws. This can differ a little bit about the manufacturer and the module of the DB9 contact, but mostly they are there is some type of clamp that holds down the cable. And refer to the technical specification or the manual of the DB9 connector, so you know that you do it properly and in a correct way, because we don't want this cable to come loose from the housing and damage the connected cables inside. So tighten it, not too much, not too hard, because this is plastic parts again, they can easily break. So now when we have secured the spiral cable, we can put back the DB9 connector inside the housing. It's a little bit tricky, a little bit fiddly, I know that. But as I said before, take your time. It's better to do it once than have to redo it. When you're happy, when everything is in place, you can close the lid and like that. And the cable is ready. So now let's connect it to the computer and see if it works. So let's connect the RG contact underneath the next remote hand control, and it snaps in place like that, and then we can put back the hand control again to the telescope mount, and the cable comes out very good underneath. Let's turn the telescope on. Connect the USB to RS232 adapter to your computer and connect these two together. The cable that we now have done and the serial adapter, like the USB to 232 adapter. Connect them like that and screw these tightening screws so they are firmly in place, so they don't fall apart. Something like that. Okay, let's open the next remote software from Celestron and see if you can have some movement of the telescope from the software. So I open the next remote.
Select settings, then press the OK button.
Okay, so immediately I have a voice that says select settings, then press OK. And immediately on the PC port, I have COM5, and this is the virtual COM port that the adapter has created. This is a NexStar 4/5 SE, and the firmware, we can check in the hand control. If we go to menu, and we go down to, let me just see, utilities, I think it was, under version. So utilities version, it says 5.2. And the highest one that I can choose in the next remote software is 4.22. But it should be okay. Just choose the highest version and let's see if it works. Okay, so we push the OK button in the software, initializing firmware.
Press enter to begin alignment.
Okay, it says NexStar SE, press enter to begin alignment. So far it says skyline now, but so far it seems to be successful. So let's see if I just push the up arrow on in the software. Let's see what's happened. Yes, I can move the telescope and go to right. Yes. Okay, so it works perfectly fine, and you see now we have made our own cable, very easy, very quick, and it directly worked together with the computer. And now we are free to use together with planetary software, and we can control the telescope. So I hope that this DIY tutorial was useful for you, and try to make your own cable, connect your telescope to your computer, and experiment and see what you can do. So thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, comment below what you want to see next in the channel, if you want some tips and tricks from my side. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and good luck with your observations under the night sky. Bye.